Once upon a time, in a cozy little house on a hill, Peppa Pig was waking up to a bright and cheerful morning. The sun was shining through her pink curtains, and the birds were chirping a happy tune. Peppa said, hugging her favorite stuffed toy. She jumped out of bed, put on her red dress, and ran downstairs where Mummy Pig was preparing breakfast and Daddy Pig was reading the newspaper. Peppa stretched her arms, gave a big yawn, and smiled. Today felt like it would be full of surprises. Good morning, Teddy. Good morning, Peppa. All aboard. Grandpa Pig called out. It's a surprise, Peppa. But pack your bag, because we're going somewhere very special. Mummy Pig greeted her. Peppa and George packed their adventure bags. Peppa brought along her magnifying glass, a notebook, Teddy, and a small jar in case she found any bugs. When they reached the enchanted meadow, a soft glow sparkled in the air, and flowers seemed to shimmer in magical colors. Along the way, they met a giggling fairy named Luma who sprinkled sparkling dust over their heads. George packed his toy dinosaur, Mr. Dinosaur, and some snacks. We have a big day ahead. We're going on a magical adventure, but first, you must help the forest gnomes solve a riddle. Peppa's eyes lit up. But beware, only those who listen with their hearts can hear the whispers of the trees. A magical adventure? George followed closely, pretending Mr. Dinosaur was a detective too. Where are we going? Peppa reached in and pulled out the music crystal. The gnomes cheered. Are we flying on a dragon? Are we meeting fairies? On the other side, a glowing cave entrance waited for them. I wish for every child to have a magical adventure like this. Curious, Peppa and George peeked through and found a staircase leading to a floating garden in the clouds. Ghibli said. They soared above the clouds, waving to birds and gliding past rainbows. Each one made a gentle sound, like tiny bells. At the center of the cave was a giant crystal with a message glowing above it. Speak a wish from your heart. You listened with your hearts, helped others, and believed in magic. The enchanted meadow thanks you. That night, as they snuggled into bed, Peppa whispered, that was the best adventure ever. I hope we can go back someday. You may now cross the babbling brook. Daddy Pig chuckled. Welcome to the enchanted meadow, he hooted. I am Professor Hoot. Only the kindest and bravest can continue past this point. Do you seek a magical adventure? Soon, George joined them at the table, munching on his favorite cereal. Grandpa Pig arrived in his little blue train, Gertrude, to take them to the edge of the enchanted meadow. Peppa, George, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig climbed aboard, and off they went, chugging through the countryside, waving at ducks in the pond and cows in the fields. At the edge of the meadow stood a tall, wise-looking owl wearing glasses and a cloak. Peppa stepped forward boldly. Yes, please, we're ready. Professor Hoot smiled and handed Peppa a sparkling map. Follow this map to the Whispering Woods. Peppa, George, and their family began their journey, following the glittering path. You'll need a bit of fairy luck where you're going, Luma said with a wink. In the Whispering Woods, the trees swayed gently and seemed to whisper secrets. Peppa stood very still and listened. The crystal caves lie beyond the babbling brook, whispered a tree. Soon, they stumbled upon a group of cheerful gnomes in red hats, dancing around a mushroom circle. The leader gnome, Ghibli, waved them over. We've lost our music crystal, he cried. Without it, the forest is silent. Can you help us find it? Peppa loved helping. She took out her magnifying glass and began searching. They searched high and low, under mushrooms and behind rocks, until George pointed to a glittering object stuck in a tree stump. Thank you, Peppa and George. The brook was lively and giggled as it flowed. A family of ducks swam by, and Peppa jumped over stepping stones, helping George with each hop. Inside the crystal caves, rainbow-colored crystals sparkled everywhere. Peppa thought hard. The crystal shone brighter and echoed her words, sending sparkles out into the sky. Suddenly, a secret door opened in the cave wall. The garden was home to the sky butterflies, who flew in beautiful patterns. The queen butterfly welcomed them with a song. Only those who believe in the power of kindness may fly with us, she sang. Peppa and George held hands and took flight on the backs of two gentle butterflies. Eventually, they returned to the meadow where Professor Hoot was waiting. "You've done well, adventurers," he said. As the sun set, Peppa and George returned home with Mummy and Daddy Pig. George smiled sleepily. "Dinosaur magic." And with that, the stars twinkled above. The enchanted meadows sparkled in the distance, and dreams carried them off to even more magical places.